Into AFCON 2025 qualifiers, and the national men's football team, Harambee Stars, will be in action today at 4 p.m. taking on Zimbabwe in Uganda, and that forms the basis of our discussion this afternoon. And joining me to take a look at what to expect is none other than Cedric Musumba. Good afternoon, Cedric.
Good afternoon, Robinson.
We are playing in Uganda.
Yes, away from home, if I may just say so. But also it's quite unfortunate that we are trading in Uganda, which is a country that has been putting up their football pitch while ours was already in the fall. And try in essence that it has come to offer us as a refugee kind of team to at least try
Our
to...
pitches were inspected 2-3 weeks ago.
Which, and again, we are not quite sure when it will be ready.
Yes.
And even if it happened to be ready, maybe it will happen to be ready after we have played the AFCON 2025, which is quite unfortunate.
Yes.
Currently, it's on a kind of a marathon with a tight kind of schedule to ensure that in the coming next year, around November, December, we are there at Morocco trying to represent the nation, which cannot be actually the same if we wait for our pitch to be inspected and put in place for us to grace.
Let's get into the game. What are you expecting this afternoon?
It's quite unfortunate we have lost quite a number of experienced players. Some of the players actually who are really trying to come to the rhythm and have tried to show us the essence of maybe filling up the gaps. But and again, they have picked up some kind of injury. One of them being Colin Sichenje.
Yes.
Remember, he was quietly playing for FC Leopard here locally, and then he moved on to Europe. I think it was Sweden IAK, which and again loaned him away. But he's a kind of a player who would have filled in the gap that the likes of Omurwa has really
Yes,
presented.
Also will not be having Omurwa today.
So that avenue has presented quite a number of question marks. But and again, it's also a better presentation for those new lads that are already in the training. Remember the likes of Ombija.
Yes.
If he can come in and fill up that particular gap strongly, it one, give him an upper hand of also selling himself to the outside world, and then two, earmarking that particular space, and then becomes competitive. So as Omurwa, the likes of Sichenje, the likes of him, Ombija, they will be competing for the similar number, which and again oils up the team.
And Marcelo is also back.
Oh, Marcelo, that's good quite of presentation coming back to the team. Remember, he's coming back to the team with a kind of quite of maturity and also has been training very well in Poland. So as him coming back, everyone would want to see him back in the team. And that particular line, with the experience he has amassed. Remember, he was in Africa Cup of Nations 2019.
Yes.
And he played quite well against Algeria, against Senegal. Now, facing the likes of Zimbabwe, can't actually torment his mentality and really quite make him maybe quite confident. I think his experience at that particular position, that's a quite sealed number. The number that I'm doubt of is fullback 2.
Now that we don't have Anyembe.
Yes. And remember last time they played him where? Centre back.
Yes.
And I'm quite certain we are not getting the quite information that we literally would like to hear. I'm literally following up Anyembe after representing Kenya and the four nations in Malawi, where he was played off his number. He played very well, according to me. He did his work. But Kenya, being Kenyans, they still criticize him. They still talk better of him really giving out that ball that really resulted to Kenya conceding a goal. But I think being a human being and who has actually matured professionally, he might be saying that maybe he's not representing the team simply because of other duties at the club, but necessarily he's just also playing out the mind that you guys, I came in, gave out my all, whatever that I require for the nation, but you seem not to really accept my value.
Yes.
So find a space that whoever that you think that can fill in that particular number, let's see how it will pan out. But that's just an kind of presentation minds that I'm really picking from what has really transpired. But that particular position is where I have so many doubts about. If Zimbabwe wants to attack Kenya, that's the position they will be attacking. Because Amos Nondi, to me, has not been quite clear.
Rooney Onyango can also play there.
He can, but if you get a tactician, let me say like back then when Sebastian Minye was actually for Harambee Star, he would think of playing two defender in that particular line. You will find pushing a defender, a wing back, who could actually play at like number 7, and then literally a full back, so that when they do combine, they seal that particular line and it becomes so cog enough to represent if it comes to any other attack that will culminating from that particular position.
Yes, Michael Olunga will not be playing today. That is a very big question that we have now that he's not in today. Can the guys, that is the likes of Mala, or Mala rather, fill in that position? And we have a Yunga. Can they fill that position?
It is a question that doesn't clearly present an answer to us, given that Olunga has been there for a while. Where have we been not to present somebody that can really fill in when Olunga is not? And that has been a question that has been bedelving the nation all along, all the way since, I think, 90s and 80s, whereby the classical number 9 a country has, when he goes, we have actually had a lull of a period before we get actually to another one. And we saw it when Oliech retired. It took us time before Olunga coming to the fore. Now Olunga is aging out, even if he's not ready. But we haven't seen anyone that can really fill into Olunga's shoe. But and again, we have talked about Ayunga, which is now a classic number 9. Leave alone. He doesn't play like Olunga, because Olunga will fall back, collect ball. Olunga will fall into defend and also provide the defensive services that are required. He will even drop into the midfield at some point to collect those particular balls and try to drive himself up front, trying to look for goals. But the likes of St. Mirren's Ayunga, yes. This is now a typical physical number 9, whereby you need to feed him with ball. You play Ayunga, it means that you will be struggling to try to look for him in each and every point he is. His physical prowess also will allow him actually to win when you happen to really win all these dead balls that can really feed him with balls. That's where he will trade his position very well. But and again, there's another option that if Firet would maybe think of, he can play with 2 double strikers. He can play with literally classic striker and then a supportive striker behind him. We saw it actually playing with this lad called Otieno at some point. He played Otieno, and at that particular time, Olunga was in the team. Then Otieno was actually like a second feed of a striker. Where Olunga doesn't fail, he was actually driving the ball. And even he won as a penalty against Zambia in the 4-Nation Cup.
I want us to listen in to what the Kenyan coach, that is Engin Firat, had to say about today's tie. Let's listen to Engin.